It was supposed to be a quick hit, in, out, disappear, 3 friends, 1 plan, and 1 house just outside Phoenix, Arizona. But what happened next? No one saw coming, because they picked the wrong house, and the wrong victim. February 18, 2017. At exactly 2:19 a.m., a 911 call came in. The voice on the line was breathless, shaky, and terrified.
We tried to rob him, but he knew we were coming. I don't know. He was waiting. And now Jacob's gone. He's gone.
The line went dead. When officers arrived at the scene, a remote desert property, they found signs of a struggle, a shattered front window, a trail of blood leading from the kitchen to the back patio, but no sign of Jacob Owens, no sign of the homeowner, and no bodies. Jacob Owens, 22, had been part of a plan to rob the house. Alongside 2 friends, Malik Torres and Eric Danner, all of them local, all with minor records, nothing violent, just bad decisions. They believed the man who lived there was an old tech hoarder, cash only, no cameras, a loner. But what they didn't know was who he really was. The man listed on the property deed, a name that didn't exist in any state database. No license, no tax history, nothing.
It's like the guy was a ghost. The property had power, running water, even fiber internet. But no official resident, no fingerprints, no mail, just nothing.
In the garage, police found something else. Walls lined with tools, racks of high-end surveillance gear, cameras, signal jammers, night vision, and a military-grade encrypted laptop, wiped clean. Malik and Eric were found the next morning, barefoot, walking down Route 87, drenched in sweat, silent. Eric had a dislocated shoulder, Malik had blood on his hands, but neither had a scratch.
What happened inside that house?
He didn't fight, he watched. He knew everything about us.
He said our names, full names, even our school grades. He said Jacob would pay first.
Jacob Owens was never found. No body, no blood trail past the patio. Dogs lost the scent near a hidden tunnel entrance behind the garage. The tunnel led 40 yards into the desert. It ended in nothing, just packed dirt, like it collapsed, or was never meant to be finished. Inside the house, authorities discovered a burner phone, taped to the back of a cabinet. One text, time-stamped 1:12 a.m., exactly 1 hour before the 911 call. The message read, "They're coming tonight, 3 of them. You know what to do." It was sent from an international number, untraceable, no carrier records. The case grew stranger. The home's prior owners, all deceased. 3 different names, all in the last 8 years, all under different aliases, all with the same cause of death, undetermined trauma. Some began calling the house the Trap, a setup, designed to lure criminals, then erase them. But nothing could be proven, and no charges were ever filed. The property was seized by the state, but the structure was mysteriously burned down a week later. No arsonist ever caught, no security footage ever recovered. To this day, Malik and Eric refuse to speak publicly. Their statements are sealed, their faces blurred in every file. Even their lawyers won't comment. Malik now lives under a new identity. Eric moved out of state. Official records list both as relocated for safety. But no one knows who ordered it. Neither has been arrested. Both passed multiple lie detector tests. But the files from those tests, missing. The technician who administered them, transferred out of state, no forwarding address. As for Jacob Owens, he's still missing. No family statements, no funeral. Some say his family received threats. Others whisper about a payoff. Cash delivered in the dead of night. Just silence. And that final quote from the original 911 call? Police say it was never traced to a working phone. The call log vanished from the system. IT staff reported a glitch, but the backup tapes were erased. The dispatcher doesn't recall ever taking it. Some investigators believe the call was routed through a ghost line, an untraceable number used by covert agencies. They planned a robbery. They picked the target. They had the gear. But someone else was planning too. Someone always one step ahead, but they chose the wrong victim. And now, one of them is gone. The other 2 will never talk. Rumors swirl about a secret organization, one that erases mistakes and the people who make them. And the house? Gone. Like it was never there. Satellite images from the night of the fire, corrupted. The only witness, a neighbor, disappeared 2 days later. Case remains open. No further leads reported since 2018. Files stamped closed keep reappearing on investigators' desks, then vanishing again. Vanished Whispers, True Crime. Subscribe for more stories the world tried to forget. Was it a simple robbery gone wrong or something far more sinister? The truth is still out there waiting in the dark. The night Jacob Owens disappeared, the neighborhood wasn't as silent as the police reports suggest. Several residents, awakened by a series of odd disturbances, later gave statements, each more unsettling than the last. Mrs. Alvarez, who lives across the street, described it first. "I heard something like a muffled yell. Then, banging. Not like a door slamming, more desperate. I looked out and saw a figure in the yard, but when I blinked, they were gone." Another neighbor, Mr. Dorsey, recalled seeing lights. There were flashes, blue and white, coming from inside the house. I thought it was a storm, but the sky was clear. It felt wrong, like someone was signaling. A teenage bystander who asked to remain anonymous saw more. "I was walking my dog and saw two guys in hoodies standing by the fence. They kept looking over their shoulders. One of them dropped something metallic. It clanged on the pavement. I just hurried home." The fear was palpable. "There was this scream, short, sharp, then nothing. My heart was pounding. I didn't sleep at all that night," Mrs. Alvarez added. The official investigation dismissed these accounts as inconclusive. But for those who heard the echoes in the dark, the night Jacob vanished will never be forgotten. What really happened behind those walls? The neighbors still wonder, and worry. As dawn broke after Jacob Owens' disappearance, the investigation took a chilling turn. Forensic teams swept the Owens residence, uncovering traces that raised more questions than answers. Show evidence photos, a gloved hand lifting a glass with a dusting brush, a crime scene marker beside a metallic object on the pavement, close-up of a partial fingerprint on a doorknob. Specialists found a partial fingerprint on the back door, unmatched in any police database. Nearby, the metallic object was revealed to be a broken key, snapped clean in half. The police brought in Eric and Malik for questioning. What follows is a transcript of that tense exchange. Detective: "Eric, you said you left the party at midnight, but Malik, your statement puts you both there after 1. Which is it?" Eric, avoiding eye contact: I must have lost track of time. We left together, I think. Right, Malik?" Malik, shifting in his seat: "Yeah, together, I guess. It was late. We were just hanging out." Detective: "Can either of you explain why your fingerprints were found on Jacob's back door?" Eric, stammering: Maybe from before? I don't remember touching the door." Malik, quickly: "We never went inside, we just waited outside for him." Detective: "Eric, earlier you said you didn't see Jacob at all that night, but now you're saying you waited for him?" Eric, voice barely audible: I don't know, it's all mixed up." The contradictions mounted. Nervous glances, fidgeting hands, stories that never quite lined up. The evidence was unsettling, but the truth remained elusive. With every new detail, the mystery of Jacob Owens' disappearance only grew deeper and more disturbing. As the dust settled and the Owens case dominated headlines, fresh theories began to take shape. Police released a statement outlining several possible scenarios. Was Jacob a victim of a meticulously planned abduction? Or did something far stranger occur within those walls? Criminal psychologist Dr. Lena Ruiz weighed in. The inconsistencies in Eric and Malik's statements suggest either trauma-induced memory gaps or deliberate deception, but the partial fingerprint and broken key hint at an outside presence, someone or something, unaccounted for. Meanwhile, online sleuths dissected every clue. Some speculated that the Owens house was connected to other disappearances in the area. Cases involving missing persons, all with traces of unexplained entry and cryptic evidence left behind. On forums, users posted side-by-side maps noting eerie patterns and drawing red lines between the Owens residence and other unsolved mysteries. A retired detective, interviewed anonymously, offered a chilling perspective. "There are details here that don't fit any known criminal profile. I've seen a lot, but this feels orchestrated, like someone's playing a long game." As the investigation stalled, the community was left reeling. Friends and neighbors wondered if the truth was even stranger than fiction. Was Jacob Owens targeted by someone from his past? Or was the house itself hiding secrets that refused to stay buried? To this day, one question echoes in the minds of all who followed the case. What really happened within those walls, and who, or what, was watching from the shadows? Just when it seemed the Owens case had faded into cold case obscurity, a startling discovery reignited the town's deepest fears. 2 months after the investigation went dormant, a local hiker stumbled across something in the woods behind the abandoned Owens property. A weathered backpack, half buried in the undergrowth. Inside, a phone, mud-caked but intact, and a small notebook filled with frantic, barely legible notes. Authorities confirmed the phone belonged to Jacob Owens, but it was what the phone's camera roll revealed that sent shockwaves through the investigation. The last recorded video, time-stamped hours after Jacob was last seen, showed a dimly lit room, unfamiliar to investigators. In the corner, a shadowy figure stood motionless, face obscured, watching Jacob from the darkness. The video ended abruptly with a muffled sound and the screen going black. As police scoured the area, another witness came forward. A night shift security guard who claimed to have seen a hooded figure near the ruins of the Owens house just days earlier, vanishing into the trees as dawn broke. The description didn't match anyone connected to the case. With this new evidence, the investigation was thrown wide open once more. Was Jacob still out there, trapped, or on the run? Who was the figure in the video, and had they been watching all along? As the camera lingers on the flickering image of the abandoned house, one thing is certain: the truth remains just out of reach, and the shadows around the Owens case have only grown darker. The final question lingers, chilling and unresolved. Will the next clue bring answers, or only more fear? Months have passed since the chilling discovery in the woods, but the Owens case continues to cast a long, uneasy shadow over the town. The abandoned house, once a forgotten relic, is now a site of whispered warnings and nightly vigils. Local children dare each other to approach its crumbling steps, while adults exchange nervous glances whenever the subject arises. Theories have multiplied like wildfire. Some claim the shadowy figure in Jacob's final video was a stranger, an outsider drawn to the property's dark history. Others insist it was someone from within the community, still living among them, hiding in plain sight. Online forums buzz with speculation, dissecting every frame of the video and every page of Jacob's frantic notes. New witness statements have only deepened the enigma. A delivery driver passing the outskirts of town late one rainy night reported seeing a figure matching Jacob's description wandering the roadside, clothes tattered, gaze vacant. Days later, a camper in the northern woods found a makeshift shelter recently abandoned with scraps of paper bearing cryptic symbols. Experts weigh in, their voices calm but wary. A criminal psychologist suggests the case may never be solved, citing the psychological toll such mysteries take on small communities. A retired detective once assigned to the Owens case warns that obsession with the unknown can sometimes become more dangerous than the truth itself. Despite increased patrols and renewed searches, the trail remains cold. Yet rumors persist. A sighting here, a strange noise there, a new clue that turns out to be nothing at all. The town waits, caught between dread and hope, wondering if Jacob Owens is still out there, or if the true story of what happened at the Owens house will ever come to light. As the camera drifts over the mist-shrouded trees and the silent, empty windows of the Owens property, one thing is clear: the case has become more than a mystery. It's a legend now, woven into the fabric of the town, a story with no ending and shadows that may never lift. While the town struggles with the lingering uncertainty, for Malik and Eric, the only surviving friends of Jacob Owens, the nightmare never truly ended. Their days are marked by anxiety, sleepless nights, and the constant scrutiny of a community desperate for answers. Cut to audio clips of psychologists. Psychologist #1, voiceover. Survivor's guilt is common in cases like this. Malik and Eric are not just mourning a friend, they're grappling with the fear that they missed something, that they could have changed the outcome. Cut to blurred interview with Malik's mother. He barely speaks. He checks the locks 3 times every night. Sometimes I hear him whispering Jacob's name. I just want my son back. Cut to law enforcement official, face obscured. Detective, we've kept in contact with both boys. They've provided everything they can, but the trauma is real. We're doing our best to support them, but the unanswered questions weigh heavily. Cut to Eric, silhouette against his bedroom window. Voiceover. Eric has retreated from his friends, rarely leaving home. He's filled journals with sketches and notes, obsessively revisiting the events of that night, searching for patterns that might reveal the truth. Cut to Psychologist #2. Psychologist #2, voiceover. Unresolved trauma can manifest as paranoia, depression, even hallucinations. For these young men, the line between reality and fear is increasingly blurred. Cut to whispered rumors in town, voiceover. And just as Malik and Eric try to rebuild their lives, a new rumor ripples through the community. A local hiker claims to have found a half-burned notebook deep in the woods, pages filled with Jacob's handwriting, and a single chilling phrase scrawled over and over: "Not alone, not alone, not alone." As the screen fades to black, the sense of unease lingers. For Malik, for Eric, and for everyone touched by the Owens case, the past is never truly gone, and the darkness may not be finished with them yet. Years have passed since the Owens case faded from the headlines, but for the families and the community, it never truly disappeared. Now, in a stunning twist, the investigation is reopened after a hunter discovers a weathered backpack near the old quarry. Inside, a phone, a set of keys, and what appears to be a bloodstained scarf. Authorities have confirmed that new evidence has been found relating to the disappearance of Jacob Owens. The case, once considered cold, is now officially active again. We always thought something was missing. This new evidence, it could change everything. I just hope the families finally get answers. We tried to move on, but you never really do. When the police called, it was like reopening an old wound. We're re-examining every lead, every statement. Sometimes a fresh set of eyes can see what others missed. We're determined to get to the truth, no matter how long it takes. DNA technology has come a long way. We're hopeful these samples will give us something concrete, maybe even identify a suspect. The community, once weary and divided, is now gripped by a cautious hope and a fresh wave of anxiety. Old suspects are questioned, new theories swirl. The families, torn between dread and relief, brace themselves for what the truth might bring. If we finally learn what happened to our boy, maybe we can find peace. But after all these years, I'm not sure any answer will be enough. As the investigation intensifies, the line between closure and chaos blurs once again. The truth is closer than ever. But in a town still haunted by shadows, some secrets may be too dangerous to uncover. As word of the reopened Owens case spreads, it doesn't take long for the internet to ignite. Reddit threads swell with speculation. Deep dive podcasts release marathon episodes dissecting every scrap of evidence. YouTube channels animate timelines, overlaying maps and cryptic messages, while armchair detectives from around the world pore over every detail, frame by frame. Clips of dramatic reenactments go viral. A grainy recreation of the backpack discovery, a shadowy figure slipping through the woods. Forum users cross-reference old photos with satellite imagery, noticing a faded tire track that had been dismissed in the original search. One user uncovers a forgotten social media post from the night Jacob disappeared. A blurry image, time-stamped minutes before his phone went silent. Interviews with key internet figures add fuel to the fire. We're not trying to replace the police, but sometimes, crowdsourcing brings new eyes to old mysteries, says the host of a popular true crime channel, her voice echoing through a live stream. Another digital sleuth, credited with finding discrepancies in witness statements, admits, "It's addictive, but we have to remember, real families are waiting for answers." But the digital obsession is a double-edged sword. The sudden influx of tips overwhelms investigators. False leads and wild accusations muddy the waters. The police chief, in a televised statement, pleads for caution. "We value your help, but please let us do our jobs." Still, the internet's relentless curiosity can't be stopped. In a stunning twist, a group of amateur coders managed to enhance a muffled audio clip from Jacob's recovered phone. The enhanced recording reveals a single chilling word, a name, whispered in fear. As the online world buzzes with the new discovery, the official investigation pivots. The digital age has turned the Owens case into a global phenomenon, but the question remains, will the internet's obsession bring justice, or only deepen the mystery? As the world dissects every moment of the Owens case, the families of Jacob, Malik, and Eric live in a parallel reality, one defined by waiting, longing, and an endless ache for answers. Jacob's mother sits at her kitchen table, hands wrapped around a cold cup of coffee. "Every morning I wake up and hope there's a message, a call, anything. But it's just silence. You want to believe, but the not knowing, it's torture." Malik's father, eyes tired but resolute, shares, "The internet talks about theories, about suspects. For us, it's our son. His room is still the same. Sometimes I stand in the doorway and wait for him to come back." Eric's younger sister flips through a worn photo album. "People online act like it's a game, but they don't see what it's done to us. My parents barely talk anymore. Every family event there's an empty chair. The unresolved mystery has left invisible scars. Relationships fray under the weight of hope and grief. Birthdays pass in hushed tones. Holidays are marked by what's missing, not what remains. Yet, in the face of heartbreak, the families cling to each other. They organize candlelight vigils, share memories online, and plead for compassion from a world that sometimes forgets the real people behind the headlines. Jacob's mother wipes away tears. "We just want the truth, not rumors, not theories, just the truth, whatever it is." As the investigation surges online, the families remain in limbo, caught between hope and despair, waiting for the day when the questions finally end. In a development that shakes the foundation of the Owens case, an investigative journalist, known for exposing hidden truths, gains exclusive access to a trove of previously unreleased evidence. The files include chilling audio recordings, never-before-seen photographs from the night of the disappearance, and confidential police reports that were withheld from the public. The first audio clip, muffled but urgent, captures Jacob's voice in a frantic whisper, "Something's wrong. We need to get out of here. Now!" The recording ends abruptly, leaving only silence and speculation in its wake. Among the photographs, one image stands out, a blurred figure lurking near the abandoned warehouse where the group was last seen. The timestamp places this figure at the scene minutes before the alarms were raised, raising new questions about whether someone else was involved. The confidential police files reveal internal debates. Detectives arguing over overlooked evidence, conflicting witness statements, and a possible cover-up of procedural mistakes made in the critical first 48 hours. Expert analysts weigh in. Former FBI profiler Dr. Lena Morales says, "The audio and images suggest the presence of a third party. This changes everything. The original narrative may have missed a crucial piece." Online, the public erupts. Forums flood with theories dissecting every second of the recordings and every pixel of the photos. Some demand a reopening of the case, while others accuse authorities of willful negligence. Law enforcement responds under mounting pressure. A spokesperson, voice strained, states, "We are reviewing all new evidence and will follow where it leads. The integrity of this case remains our top priority." For the families, still trapped in limbo, these revelations ignite a new wave of hope and dread. Could these clues finally unravel the truth behind that fateful night, or will they only deepen the mystery? One thing is certain, with these unsealed secrets, the story of the Owens case is far from over. As the newly unsealed evidence sends shockwaves through the Owens case, a fresh name surfaces. A local handyman, David Mercer, previously dismissed as a witness, now thrust into the spotlight. Surveillance footage, grainy and time-stamped the night of the disappearance, shows Mercer's van idling near the warehouse at 2:13 a.m., just minutes after Jacob's desperate audio message. Investigators, faces drawn and voices tight, sit across from Mercer in a dimly lit interrogation room. Their questions are sharp. Why were you there that night? Who were you waiting for? Mercer's answers are evasive, his eyes darting, hands trembling. The footage continues, Mercer pacing outside the warehouse, glancing at his phone, then slipping something into his jacket. Analysts freeze the frame, debating, was it a tool or something more sinister? Meanwhile, neighbors recall odd behavior, late-night trips, unexplained absences, and a sudden, uncharacteristic withdrawal after the incident. News of Mercer's possible involvement fractures the community. Some insist he's been framed, others are convinced he's the missing piece. Motive theories swirl online. Debts, grudges, or a twisted fixation on one of the victims. As the investigation intensifies, Mercer's life is dissected. Every phone call, every financial transaction, every alibi scrutinized. Yet for every answer, two more questions emerge. Did Mercer act alone? Was he manipulated? Or is he just another pawn in a far larger mystery? The episode closes on a single, haunting question. Has the truth finally surfaced? Or is the Owens case about to spiral even deeper into uncertainty?